छोड़ दो यार प्लीज, जो है
बस
वो
कर
है.
दो, हाँ.
Right?
I think there is no God's given right to job.
सही है बिल्कुल.
You have to stay relevant. In the most strict sense, I would say AI is of two types. One is normal,
Yes.
and one is general AI.
Hello and welcome back to Wisdom Whispers with Abhishek Mittal. So today we have an interesting topic, though we have all the interesting topics so far. But another interesting topic, and I will start with a good quotation by Marshall Goldsmith. It's what get you here won't get you there, right? So what it means is like what you have learned so far, that is not sufficient for taking you to a next level, right? So you need to keep learning, and that's what our topic today is, like learning in this artificial intelligence era, that there's so much changing in this entire world. What we need to do to keep ourselves relevant in the market, राइट. हमें हर समय कंटिन्यूअसली लर्न करना है. इट्स अ लाइफ लॉन्ग जर्नी. वी कैन नॉट जस्ट स्टॉप इट इन बिटवीन एंड से नो आई हैव लर्नड एनफ and I will not do more learning now. So today we have Navdeep Singh in our studio to discuss on this topic. So he's a business leader with 14 years of experience in fortifying digital landscapes, with a special expertise in stakeholder management, mergers and acquisitions, digital transformation, and techno-legal frameworks. He believes in continuous learning and constantly staying ahead of the learning curve and in this evolving industry. So let's welcome Navdeep Singh to the show. Hi, Navdeep. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Abhishek. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us for this conversation, Navdeep. Though we will get into this deep topic of learning and this artificial intelligence as a buzzword which we have. Absolutely. Like everyone talks about. But before that, it will be good to know what's your career journey so far and how you have taken this learning as a part of your journey.
Yeah, so what I'll do is, Abhishek, first of all, it was an introduction. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, and I think you do this because to create pressure so that we speak well, right? Isn't it? Yeah, from the corporate journey perspective, I've stayed in this corporate life. I've seen this corporate life from last 14 years. And I started working into, let's say, product lifecycle management, if not anything else then. So I must say that I'm an engineer by heart, and an MBA from my mind, and then a legal professional when it comes to my act. So it's, let's say, a good corporate mixture. And then in 2015, I started working for an organization called Bombardier.
Okay.
I got to learn a lot from that particular mentor. And I have no shame in taking the name of the mentor. Her name is Deborah McDonald. Yeah, and I learned from Deborah McDonald and Christoph Raupak extremely well. Yeah, so most of my life lessons are coming from them only. How to approach, how to learn, and how to, let's say, take action. That's the most important aspect, I believe. And then I got to learn a lot from the colleagues and my own, let's say, the people who I believe in, like Sam Sinek and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Okay, great. Good to know that. And I have also done some research about you. So it's not just the learning on the go. You have also invested a lot of time in yourself by getting into new certifications, new courses which you have enrolled into, and you made sure that you completed those courses, right? So how's this learning journey so far? When you decided, at what time you decided that, oh, I need to invest in myself, not just by learning from the experiences, but learning from the courses around you?
I think, Abhishek, the way to look at this is that you need to, as early as you start predicting about how the industry is moving, you need to have a sense of how industry is transforming. That's important for me. And that has somehow given me the sense of investing into myself. That's first element. The second element is, and in the third element, I'll give you a quick example of the thing as well. The second element is that you need to ensure that you are continuously on your toes when it comes to let's say, not just investing in you,
Yeah.
but also in regularly catching up with the events around you. As an example, AI.
Right.
How will you respond to AI
Yeah.
as a consulting professional, or as a professional, let's say? Now, everybody today is talking about digital transformation,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Now, can you do a digital transformation for an organization who is still writing on a piece of paper about the production that happened yesterday?
Yes.
And how will you ensure that they are working towards AI?
Hmm.
Because if they do not do anything at this point in time, in next 5 years they will be
Out of the business.
out of business, as simple as that,
Yes.
you know. And that is exactly how you have to think for yourself as well, and if you are not thinking about yourself, nobody else is. And then the third element is that you still have to understand what are the rules and regulations that you have to abide by.
Hmm. Though it is still evolving, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think this is how I would sum up my reasons of what I do, as
Uh-huh.
in cybersecurity, as in legal frameworks, as in regulatory compliance. And then, as I mentioned, I'm engineer by heart, and you will hear me stating this quite often. So that's how I believe of the things.
Great. Thanks for sharing it, Navdeep. Uh, So though you have already touched base on it, that what exactly the learning means to you, right? But if you still want to share something with all of us, that what exactly learning means to you, outside of, you said, like, rightly said, that it's family, right? It's your mentors, it's your colleagues. But what exactly it means to you?
Let me answer it in a little bit blunt way as a
Yeah.
starting point. I think there is no God's given right to job.
सही है बिल्कुल.
You have to stay relevant
Mm-hmm.
in order to be, let's say, employable,
Yeah.
right? And if you ask me about learning, I think there are, again, two or three aspects around that. The first aspect is consumption of knowledge. The second aspect is processing of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third element is utilization of knowledge.
Applying that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think most people know how to consume knowledge, but where they miss is about connecting the dots, which I talk about processing the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And then they kind of have less sense of applicability and finding out the gaps so that the cycle can start again. And to me, that is what learning is all about. You know, it
Mm-hmm.
has to be three-way process, and then you understand the gaps, and then you start all again.
Okay. And any tips, like, because you said, like, a lot of people miss out on the second and third step, right? So they might have gathered the knowledge by reading books, by in the college time learning from the experiences, but they miss out on connecting the dots. So what you have done differently, which help you in connecting those dots and applying it in your corporate life, and so that other like audiences can also like get benefit off from that.
Yeah, well, I will not put it like that. I have applied it all the time,
Yes.
but yes, I am in continuous process of applicability and continuous, uh, let's say, process of connecting the dots.
Yes.
And what I mean by this is that you have to continuously ask you a question: is there more to a problem?
Mm-hmm.
Have I figured out the right solution? Is there something more that I have to question myself? So there is a sense of competitive paranoia, I would say, that you have to focus on. And you have to keep asking yourself question, like a small baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
They always ask you why.
Right.
Why, daddy? Why, mommy? Right? We all know that. So it is the same sense that you have to bring in your corporate life as well, that
Mm-hmm.
you keep on asking right set of questions that will ensure that you are on the right path, probably. And there is no wrong question.
I think that's what is missing sometimes. That's also a culturally driven. What I've seen is this is also a consultative way of providing a solution to something, right? So what
Absolutely.
what happens is sometimes we accept the question as it is.
Yes.
we don't question someone because whether it's in a corporate ladder, they are quite above us,
Yeah.
or they're very senior and they are more experienced. But this is the one thing which we all need to learn. Like whenever we're getting something,
Yeah.
if we can question back, and we used to do it, as you said, right? Our kids do ask, and we get
Absolutely.
agitated sometimes.
Yeah.
कि यार छोड़ दो यार please,
हाँ,
जो है
बस
वो
कर
है.
दो, हाँ.
Right? But in the corporate life, if as a adults, if we will start doing that, right, बहुत सारी चीजें वैसे ही रिजॉल्व हो जाएंगी.
Absolutely.
बिकॉज देन आप सोच रहे हो कि अच्छा इसके आगे और हो क्या सकता है. राइट नाउ व्हाट्स हैपनिंग इज दैट यू हैव अ क्लोज्ड माइंडसेट and you're just looking at a solution from a one end. You are
Absolutely.
not opening it up and looking at different options which are available. And that's what you are saying, right? If you will think beyond, then you will try to see, अच्छा मैंने ये सीखा था, क्या मैं इसको यहाँ apply कर सकता हूँ.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. And there are examples about this. For example, you and I are both M&A
Yes.
professionals, right? There is an element of data limitation, right? Not many people understand what goes beyond that, you know.
Uh-huh.
So why do we have data limitation as part of this M&A process? One aspect is to save yourself from audit processes,
Yeah.
as an example, you know. And the second is liability clauses associated with those audits, right?
IP.
Absolutely. So there are nuances that people don't question. Since they don't question, they don't understand.
Right.
This is as simple as that.
Yeah.
And I think it's conventional wisdom of the people that drags them down.
Mm-hmm.
But they have to, let's say, come out of their cocoon to ask those questions. And they need to have, let's say, ability and guts to ask those questions, I would say.
Yeah. Like this is what I'm saying, right? When we grow up, like when we become adults, we just stop questioning things.
Yes.
And when we really get into the corporate life, we all think कि जो हमें seniors बोल रहे हैं, this is how a way to do it. And I think that's the one question which I have ahead as well,
Okay.
in the process of this conversation, which is very interesting. I will come back to you on that. But I think you have touched base one very interesting term, AI, right? Artificial intelligence. And I know that you are learning a lot in that particular field. So what, according to you, what is artificial intelligence, right? Because this is a buzzword.
Yes.
Right? It's a buzzword. And why I'm saying it, if you will look at this recent Shark Tank episodes, everyone who's coming for a pitch, कुछ भी बेच रहे हैं, but they start putting AI in front of it. And the sharks are really out of their mindset. तुम कर क्या रहे हो, right? कुछ भी बोल रहे हो और उसके आगे AI लगा रहे हो. It does not mean कि ये तुम जो कर रहे हो, that is an AI, right? So what exactly the AI is, because, and let's look at it in a very layman language so that everyone can understand, and how positively it is impacting the current environment.
All right. I would say AI is nothing but simulation of human brain in the most simplified sense.
Mhm.
Now, is AI a new thing? I don't think so. I think it started way back in 1950 to 1960 when IBM first started working on their product called Watson, and then
Yeah.
it evolved, right?
Yeah.
And if we see in 2011, Apple launched Siri. Wasn't it AI?
Yes. it
And
is.
if we were not, let's say, clever enough to take sense of what is coming our way, now since it has become a big thing, we have all started thinking about and correlating it to AI.
Yes.
You know, in the most strict sense, I would say AI is of two types.
Mhm.
One is normal
Yes.
and one is general AI. You know,
Okay.
the normal, I call it as weak AI.
Mhm.
You know, now what I mean by weak AI is that it is processed in a way, or let's say there are series of programs
Mhm.
which are running in a way that can solve one particular problem.
Okay.
Yeah. Then there is a general AI, which means that the cognitive, let's say, applicability of this tools, or
Mhm.
let's say cognitive applicability of the system is such that it can take inputs, process, and feedback.
Okay.
And that I call it as a strong AI.
Mhm.
You know, now this is how the AI is built at this point in time in the most simplest sense? And is it something where it is just a series of tools, series of, let's say, applications which are residing on quite powerful hardware,
Mhm.
which are trying to simulate human brain?
So, do you have any examples of these two AIs? The one AI which is just a very specific to our purpose, and the second AI, which I think, which we can say ChatGPT is the second one. I don't know if
Yes,
that's right or not, but
absolutely. So, for example, let's talk about the most simplest AI thing.
yeah,
You know, everyone has used Google.
yeah,
You go to Google, you search, it gives you simple results,
right,
right? Based on SEO, and I will not go into the
yeah, yeah.
details
So
of
they have
what it is.
algorithms running
They have
behind it,
algorithms running behind it, and it
right?
gives you the results.
Yeah,
Now, this is quite weak, simple AI, I would
okay.
say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you ask the same question to ChatGPT, as you rightly
Yeah.
mentioned, it will give you a bit of sense of what is happening,
Mm-hmm.
right? Second example is the autonomous running cars.
Mm-hmm.
They take inputs from
Live environment.
live environment,
Yeah.
they process that information at that point in time, and then take decisions.
Mm-hmm.
That I call it as strong AI.
Okay. So it means that the AI which can take feedback and can work on it,
Absolutely.
right? Keep learning. And I think if machines can keep learning, why not we?
Absolutely.
So,
And the way I look at it is that we have 85 billion neurons in our human brain, right? And if we don't employ them, we might as well lose them.
right. And so all this is AI which is there, right?
Yeah.
ह- हर कोई आजकल बात कर रहा है AI
Yeah.
के बारे में, because it's just a buzz, it's not just a buzzword, it is also impacting the work environment.
Yes.
So what you think, how positively it is impacting not just your work, right? It's in general, how it is impacting the work, the environment, the global environment where we are currently.
I think there is, so let me take a step back,
Hmm.
let me take a step back. There are three nuances, or let's say three types of information that we, or three types of people broadly who are talking about AI. One who say AI is nothing,
Yes.
and I will just park these people on the side, because AI is something which is happening. Then there is another set of people who are quite pessimistic about AI.
Hmm.
They believe that AI is AI is going to take their job.
Yes.
Yeah. Now these are the set of people who need to think through what they are doing in their own 24 hours that they
Hmm.
have in a day. And if they are doing any autonomous jobs,
Hmm.
unka to job jayega, right? As simple as that.
Yeah.
You know. Then there is a second or third set of people who believe that AI is kind of co-pilot in whatever they are doing,
Hmm.
and AI is there for good.
Thanks for sharing that, Navdeep. This is such an important topic, AI, because as I said, ये machines को continuously learn करना है, तो हमें तो करना ही करना है.
Absolutely, there is
तो
no way out.
वरना machines हमसे आगे निकल जाएंगी. So we have to do that. My next question is a very interesting question. Like, how I believe in one thing, which is learn, unlearn, and relearn.
Yeah.
Right? बहुत कुछ सीखा है हमने, बहुत कुछ उसको इरेज भी किया है और दोबारा बहुत कुछ सीखा है. How much you believe in this process?
Yeah, that reminds me of Alvin Toffler's quote, that he said that the people of 21st century, so something like that. So
Mhm.
21st century uneducated people will not be the people who have not gained the knowledge, or let's say who do not understand languages,
Mhm.
but they will be the people who do not understand how to learn,
Unlearn.
unlearn and relearn.
Yes.
So that's quite beautiful quote, I would say. And I strongly believe in this concept, and this has a direct correlation to continuous improvement,
Mhm.
because regardless of how much we loved floppy drives,
Mm.
we don't use them.
Though I still have it in my like Almira there, because and I still want to show it to someone, like, oh, this is the first thing which you had.
Absolutely. So I think we learned when all
Yes.
of these came in. Then we unlearned when we moved to pen drives.
Right.
And then we had to relearn when we have, let's say, the memory cards and whatnot today. The cloud,
You're right.
the cloud, let's say,
Environment.
the environment that we have,
Yes.
and the cloud hostings that we have. So I think it's part of human evolution, and we don't want to be the horse carts of the modern world who cannot be employed because we have internal combustion and battery operated cars. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. So uh, it's such an important thing. So I like it's a process. So first,
Yeah.
I think everyone who's listening to this and watching this, it's a process. It's not a one day thing. It's a continuous process. You need to understand, and sometimes as an adult, and these are psychological things which
Yeah.
we have seen in the theories, that once you grow up, it becomes very difficult to unlearn and learn new things. But but you need to really pay emphasis on it, that what I have learned, have I questioned it or not?
Absolutely.
Because I still remember that I was reading a book by Adam Grant, that there was a case there which talked about, we all have heard of this one theory in the books, that if we मेंढक को हम यदि गर्म पानी में, उबलते हुए पानी में डालते हैं तो वो बाहर आ जाता है,
Yeah.
एंड उसको धीरे धीरे पानी गर्म करते हैं तो वो मर जाता है.
Yeah.
He said that we all have learned this, but nobody has questioned it.
Why?
He questioned it. And what he saw is opposite. He said, if you put a what we call it, frog, right?
Yeah.
If you put a frog in a boiling water, it will die.
Yeah.
The frog will not be able to come out. And that's a practical, right? He questioned it.
And that also depends upon the depth of the water.
Yeah. Right.
Absolutely right. So there is another element or the angle of what you are just mentioning, right? That you have to learn and start to see things in a different way.
Yes.
You cannot just say that that we are still seeing, as I mentioned, we cannot be the horses or of the horse cart that are no longer needed in the society, right? And to build upon what you just mentioned, I think it is so important to keep questioning yourself and be in the state of competitive paranoia that we so solely need to
Mhm.
ensure that we continuously progress in
Yeah.
life. Otherwise, the whole concept of human evolution can lead to extinction, I would say.
Right. So a very important topic of learn, unlearn, and relearn. Because one thing and we will like one last thing on this is assumptions kill possibilities. So if
Yeah.
you're assuming something, that, oh, this is what I have learned or this is what I have assumed, don't assume.
Yeah.
Just see that this is right or wrong, right? Have you questioned it or not? If you're assuming it, you have killing so many possibilities which is possible in this world, right? That's what I love about kids.
Absolutely. And they deliberately do this. And I think the unlearning process has to be connected with the deliberate attempt of
Yes.
yourself pushing into an area where you unlearn yourself, so that you vacate some neurons, as I mentioned, out of 85 billion neurons to relearn.
Right. And
That is extremely important.
and that is why so many people are afraid right now, that how AI will impact their jobs, how impact their life. And if till the time they will not unlearn what they have learned initially, that, oh, or what they have learned from a lot of articles, that, oh,
Yeah.
AI will take their jobs, or AI is not very healthy for them. They have to see the other side of the road as well, right? Ki this is, जैसे मैं बोला, right? This is AI is a friend.
Yes.
How you use it, now it depends on you. You can use it in a constructive way, you can use it in a destructive way. right? And
Absolutely.
that is a relearning process. हम लोगों ने
Absolutely.
AI सुना ही नहीं था.
Hmm.
It started coming up recently, 5-8 years back. So we have to learn about it, and we have to unlearn a lot of things which has been done in a different way. कि
Absolutely.
जैसे you picked up an autonomous cars, right? हम लोगों ने कभी सोचा ही नहीं था
Ah,
कि बिना ड्राइवर के भी there is a car which
there's a
can
possibility
which is
of driving.
possible, right? And then we have to unlearn कि हाँ possibility है,
Yes.
and you have to learn कि वो possibility कैसे है, because you have to understand the basics behind it. You cannot just use something जो कि market में बन गया है,
Absolutely.
right? So that's a process, and that's
And just to add on to what you just mentioned, Abhishek, there is about people's, how they respond back. It is obvious that the people are responding the way they are responding. Some of them,
mhm,
they are afraid because they are not willing to take an action. They know it is coming.
mhm,
We all knew that it is coming,
yes,
but how many of us took an action to make sure that we are learning at a pace where we are at ahead of the game, let's say.
yes, very
And
true.
that is extremely important. So I think the timing of the learning, along with your sense of prediction, I would say,
Mhm.
is cherry on the cake.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thanks. A good one. So now, now coming back to the learning,
Sure.
right? Uh, we we uh, we know that learning is important to to remain in this world, right? To remain relevant in this world,
Irrelevant. Yeah.
right? So, how important? What is the importance of learning in your career, and how you have benefited from that?
Yeah. As I mentioned, there are few elements in the
Mhm.
learning process. The first step is around the consumption of the knowledge.
Yes.
The second is processing of the knowledge, and third element is utilization of the knowledge. Now, if you bundle all of this and you make it as a continuous process, as we just briefly discussed, all of this leads into value creation. And relevancy is directly proportional to the value that you can bring onto the table for any customer, for your customers, for your employer, for I would say friends.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are unable to be in a position where you cannot deliver value to the person who you are talking, I don't think you have achieved the right of even talking.
Mm.
That is as simple as that. Now, in my career, as I mentioned, I started off with the product lifecycle management, and slowly and steadily now I am moving my, let's say, learning from PLM to M&A, from M&A to cybersecurity, and cybersecurity to now rules and regulations.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this has helped me to ensure that I am not, first of all, getting bored of what I'm doing, and second of all, I'm still hopefully relevant to the industry to which I belong to.
Right.
And I think this is extremely important, that you have to predict, and there is no right and wrong answers in this. You can be right, you can be wrong in your
Mhm.
own predictions, but at least you took an action, which is what mostly important is.
I can just add a couple of things which I think it's importance of learning, right? The one, as we all said, right? You need to be uh, adopt to these new technologies very quickly, right? You need to stay relevant in your job,
Absolutely. Yeah.
right? That's one. The learning also improved your problem solving skills, because you learn new things,
Yeah.
and then you look at things in a different way. So that's one more importance
Yeah.
which I see when I look at learning, right?
Absolutely.
क्योंकि limitation नहीं है.
Absolutely.
अभी क्या होता है कि there are a lot of limitations when we look at a solution of a problem, because we think in a one way,
Yeah.
and it's a human brain, right?
Yeah.
What we have learned, we only think in the same way.
Yeah.
And when we are learning new things, we think in multiple ways,
Absolutely.
and then there is clash of ideas
Absolutely.
within ourselves कि यार इसको ऐसे भी कर सकते हैं, इसको ऐसे भी कर सकते हैं. अच्छा, what is the right way of doing it?
Absolutely.
And that's one of the importance of learning, that you can think in a broader way. You can look at problem solving skills, you can enhance those, you
Yeah.
can bring new thought process into it.
Absolutely. And that directly correlates into the ability of breaking down the overall problem into bite sized chunks
Yes.
to ensure that you have reached to the stem of the problem
Uh-huh.
and you have fixed the problem from that particular, let's say, to really the core of the problem. You have fixed it, because sometimes what we see are just a ripple effect,
Mm-hmm.
and we tend to fight those ripple effects, however the problem is lying under the water.
Right.
And that is where I think what you just mentioned is absolutely fitting in.
Yeah, and one last thing which I think it's important is that career advancement. Learning is like when you are looking for the next role, looking to change, to
Yeah.
pivot, right? So if you are learning new things, only then you can ask for something else.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you will keep doing what you have been doing,
Absolutely.
and someday you will become irrelevant,
Yeah. Absolutely.
redundant,
Absolutely.
right? So one, absolutely, you need to be relevant. The second, with learning, you can grow as an individual.
Of course.
You can look for new ventures, and I think a lot of people have done that. If you will see all the successful people, they have pivoted, they have learned a lot while they are working.
Yes.
So it is a continuous process, as
Yeah.
you said already, right? That you don't have to stop in between.
Absolutely. It cannot be stopped.
It cannot be stopped. और वो बहुत सारे लोग कर लेते हैं. They think what I'm doing, I'm okay with it, I'm very happy with it, let's continuously do that.
Yeah.
Right? But someday these advancements which are happening in the world, it will make your job irrelevant.
Yeah. And like you mentioned about AI briefly, right?
Yeah.
I think the major difference between AI and humans is that we know when not to speak and how much to speak.
Yes.
And that is, I think, is an edge that we will always have.
Very, very good point. Thanks, Navdeep, for adding that bit of it. So now we have talked about that why learning is important, what's the value it has in
Yeah.
one's career. But now uh, the last bit is how to embrace this continuous learning into our life.
Yeah, I think, and it all boils down to the fact that asking yourself right set of questions. First of all, taking clues from what is happening around you,
Mhm.
and then asking yourself how prepared you are.
Okay.
And if the answer to the question is either you don't know what is happening, or if you are not prepared, then I think you are not in the wrong. Then I think that you are not in the right place. Then you have to take an action. And if the answer to both the questions is yes, I am prepared for what is happening, I'm getting up at least, then I think you are in the right place and you need to keep working hard. There is no shortcut. I would strongly say, and I would reiterate, that there is no shortcut to what we want to do, because the technology will either be our friend or a friend that betrays us. So that is how important it is to continuously learn, continuously take clues of what is happening around. So we have to keep our eyes, ears, nose, all our senses open, and then take an action. Because mostly I've seen that people understand what is happening.
Mhm.
Since 1950, 60 times, we know that AI is building up, you know. Now it has come to a point where people have started crying or thinking about the jobs,
Yes.
that AI will make them irrelevant and so
Yeah,
on
yeah.
and
So,
so
so
forth.
so many talks around these things. So that's why I think I've picked up this topic,
Absolutely.
because like ignorance cannot be a solution for everything.
Absolutely. Perfectly. Yes.
Right? कि
Yes.
मुझे नहीं पता क्या हो रहा है
क्या हो
दुनिया
रहा है
में,
दुनिया में?
बट जो मैं कर रहा हूँ मैं करता रहूंगा.
हाँ.
And someone else will take your job, right? And I'm just picking up a very, very small thing. It's and AI has no link with it, right? If you will go in the Western world,
Mhm.
the petrol pumps or the gasoline stations, you don't have people who are
Yeah.
helping you. In India, you have people who are helping you right now.
Yeah.
But till what time?
Absolutely.
उसका कोई एंड है, बिकॉज वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड हैज ऑलरेडी मूव्ड इनटू दैट एरिया जहां पे उन लोगों की रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है.
Yes.
यहाँ पर है, बट वो कब तक है? So if you're
Absolutely.
ignorant about that, someone will take that job.
Hmm.
You will become irrelevant. what you are providing those services right now. So that's why it is important. So what I think that, and I've already covered that, these bits in a lot of our previous episodes, where we talked about reading as an habit and
Yeah.
scheduling, right? But the things which are important when to embrace learning into your life is that, first, don't be ignorant.
Hmm.
Accept it that there are things which you need to learn,
Yeah.
right? Create a plan for it.
Yes.
don't just think that somebody someday something will automatically come to you और तुम सीख जाओगे.
Hmm.
ऐसा नहीं होता है. Create a plan, identify what you have to do,
Yeah.
stick to the plan, complete it.
Yeah.
Another thing, बहुत से लोग start कर देते हैं but they are not able to complete it, right? That these are the ways through which you can embrace the learning into your culture. कि हाँ, this
Absolutely.
is what I need to do. मैं कहीं पर भी कुछ भी कर रहा हूँ, I have to do this.
Yeah.
I have to take out time. Because again, a lot of people come to us and say, Abhishek, you're talking about that we need to complete this additional course, or I should learn this.
Yeah.
Time ka hai.
Hmm.
If you still have that in your mind, that I don't have time to learn and learn new things, then you are gone.
Absolutely.
तब तो फिर आप कंप्लेंट ही करोगे पूरी जिंदगी
Absolutely.
कि यार मेरे पास तो टाइम नहीं था, मैं तो सीख ही नहीं पाया. So I always take one example. So when I started, I'm a computer engineer, right? I did my computers way back. I started as a Fox Pro software programmer,
Wow.
right? आज कोई बोलता भी नहीं उसके बारे में.
Hmm.
If I would have kept doing it, मैं कब का relevant हो चुका होता.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
you cannot just stick to it. You need to understand कि क्या market में चल रहा है. You have to
Hmm.
take out time to do it and stick to the plan.
Absolutely.
Don't just ignore it. So
Absolutely.
that's my 2 bits on it. That's the way you can embrace learning into your culture.
I think action is the key.
Yeah.
So you cannot escape that.
Absolutely. Thanks, Navdeep. Thanks for such a great conversation.
Thank
I
you,
think
Abhishek.
there are a lot of takeaways for me as well.
Oh, I doubt that.
But yes, it's such a great conversation.
Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you very much for having me.
That's for this part of it. It's not ending, right? Now we will get into another section, which is, now we'll not talk about learning, AI, right? Now we'll talk about, अच्छा Navdeep, क्या है? So,
All right. Let's try and do that.
right? So this section is a little more about you,
All
right?
right.
So we have already heard about, like, for you, how much importance you give to your family. You have talked about your kids. You have talked about your wife, your family. So though I know a bit of it, how you will say or conclude about this, but what exactly you do to unwind yourself from the corporate life?
The best possible thing is that once you have toddlers at home, you know where I'm going, right?
Yeah.
And if you ask me, there is a strong intertwined nature of your corporate life as well as your
Yes.
personal life. What I mean by this is that your corporate life has a strong impact on your personal life,
Mhm.
and your personal life has a strong impact on your professional life. Now, it is extremely critical to ensure that you are not taking worries of one part of your life to the other part, while ensuring that the other bit is still working on the right track. And yes, there is, let's say, a gray area where you sometimes can land into, where you have to bring in your personal life to your professional life and your professional life to your personal life. But that is all about maintaining and ensuring that you have really good work life balance.
Yeah. Again, but now this is not that easy,
Yes.
right? Not a lot of people can do it. So we need to be careful. I think we need to be mindful. I think when we are uh, like looking at our personal life and professional life, if we can mindfully doing that, okay, I will try not to bring that to home. What are the tensions at office, and whatever happened at home, I will not bring that to office. So I think that's a one way, right?
Yes. And I think also as leaders, people need to understand that there is a bit of, let's say, a personal touch and care that we all need.
Mm-hmm.
That whatever happens in personal lives of the people, if the leaders, who we typically say are
Role
other
model.
half of
Yeah.
our
Yes.
of the other family or the
Yes.
extended family that we treat like that, if they are careful about that particular element, then I would say that we are all, let's say, embracing that uh, good corporate culture and a good corporate family culture, I would say.
Okay. Great. So for you, unwind means spending time with your family, right?
Absolutely. I or you can find me playing table tennis or working out in the gym.
And next, which I think I usually ask my every guest, that if you have to give one advice to 20-year old of yourself, what advice it would be?
I would say once you know what needs to be done, don't procrastinate forever. You
Okay.
have to take an action.
Mhm.
Action is what differentiates people who do and who are unable to do it.
Heavy lifting, huh? So,
I mean that's reality. That's what I
yeah,
believe in.
yeah, no, absolutely. So, a beach or hills?
Hills.
Uh, India
Maybe
or abroad for vacation?
probably abroad. Germany.
Oh. I think that's because of your connection with Germany, right?
Absolutely. Strong, deep rooted connections. Yes.
Nice, nice, nice. Uh, Now you have toddlers at home. You might have your extended family. What they think what you do?
What they think I do. They always think I don't have time. That's the honest, let's say, complaint that they always have. But I think it is so much critical for them to support me, which I'm getting unconditional support, and I'm really thankful to my wife and to my family that strongly believe in what I'm doing.
But how they define what you are working, right? How's your grandparents? If I just pick up that, because
Mhm.
they give you the the quickie of the answers, right?
Yes.
कि करते क्या हो? So how they define? If they said, "अच्छा नवदीप पुत्र हो करता क्या है?"
And I'll tell you what happened very recently. I was discussing what I do. तो मैंने अपने ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स को बोला कि दिस इज व्हाट आई डू. द आंसर आई गॉट वाज, तो तू खरीद बेच करता है कंपनियों की.
Nice, nice, nice. That's also a nice way of defining what we do. um, okay, uh, if you have to pick up one brain to discuss something, whose brain is that?
Probably Deborah McDonald.
Your mentor.
Yes.
Lovely, lovely. Uh, One last thing, then we will close this section as well. Uh, as you said, we work a lot, uh, and then we have to take out some time for family as well. Great. Thanks, Nadeep. Thanks for joining us on Wisdom Whispers with Abhishek Mittal. And I had a great time with you.
Thank you
So
very much.
thanks a lot for coming to the show.
Thank you very much, Abhishek, for having me.
So this was our episode with Navdeep Singh on learning in this AI era. This is such an important topic for all of us, right? Because to remain relevant and to upskill ourselves, we have to keep learning. We have discussed this in our earlier episode as well, where we talked about that how cultivating a habit of reading will help you grow as an individual. So, the gist of this entire conversation was that you have to learn, you have to unlearn, and you have to relearn. And this will help you to enhance your problem solving skills, to advance in your career, right? So, keep learning. It's a journey. Don't stop it. We will keep bringing you some more food for the thought conversations in the upcoming episodes. If you enjoyed this episode, do let us know. And if you have any feedback or want us to pick up a certain topic, do reach out to us on Gmail, LinkedIn, and Instagram. The links are below. Right? Also, do remember to share it with your friends, family, and colleagues. And also to like, subscribe to us if you are watching it on YouTube, and follow us if you are listening to us on any audio platform. We are available on all the audio platforms. So this is me, Abhishek Mittal, signing off for now. We will be back next week with another fascinating episode on Wisdom Whispers with Abhishek Mittal. Thank you.